Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about left-hand harmonics and how to play them. It's something I've talked about before, but I thought I would revisit it, maybe offer some new thoughts, some new camera angles, and make sure you stay tuned till the end because I'll offer a tip that you might not be aware of. So the harmonic on the harp is a beautiful, magical sound. And let's start by just kind of reviewing what a harmonic is and what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve. So basically, instead of playing the string like normal, where it vibrates at a certain frequency, a certain number of times, we are cutting the string in half, in a sense, by putting the base of our thumb right here on the center of the string, and then playing this top half with the thumb. So now, because it's half the length, it's going to vibrate at twice the frequency, causing it to sound an octave higher. So here's our normal E flat, here's the harmonic, which sounds the same an octave higher. Sorry, tuning's a little bit off, but, and that, not only does it sound an octave higher, but it has a different color, a different timbre, a different kind of sound quality to it that is quite distinctive. Okay, so that's our goal. How do we do it? So as I say, basically the basics are put this part of the palm right on the center of the string, find the center of the string, put the thumb on the string, and whoop, just kind of move the hand a little bit. So here's how I would describe it, even though, as we'll see from this footage, it's not exactly what I'm doing, but here's how I would describe it and think of it. I'm going to think about holding maybe I don't know, a grapefruit or something round, somewhat large, so that I have a nice curved hand, including the thumb. So I'm not trying to straighten the thumb, and I'm not trying to have a big bend. I'm just kind of trying to have a natural kind of small, relaxed bend. So if you were to imagine that the hands were down at your side, then how the thumb would be there, just kind of natural, or maybe again, just a slight curve, but not trying to be like this, and not trying to be like this, but just a slight curve. And then I like to imagine that the whole hand, once I've got that shape, is the whole hand and arm down to the elbow are kind of like a mannequin's hand, that they are immobile. And what I'm doing is I'm just turning a little bit from the elbow so that I find this spot, I find this position on the string, and now I'm not thinking about actually moving the thumb or anything. I'm just thinking about turning from the elbow here a little bit, rotating out. Now, as you can see from this footage, that's not necessarily true. You can see quite distinctively that the thumb actually does move, but I'm certainly not aware of it. I'm not focusing on like trying to play the thumb. It's more this bigger hand and arm movement that's how I'm feeling it. And also you can see that I'm not doing a huge amount of rotation. There's not a big movement or anything. But again, that's the main thing I'm thinking about, is just this bigger arm and hand motion. And in general, I think to get a really beautiful harmonic, you want to work as little as possible. Less is more, that it can feel really gentle, that if you start trying to strain and trying to, I gotta get a good harmonic, it's gonna work against you. When we start going like this, we just kind of coax a beautiful harmonic out of the strings and the harp. So that's how I think about it. But again, if we watch, you can see exactly how the thumb does move, does play a little bit, and there's not a huge amount of rotation. But that's basically it. Now, what makes a harmonic particularly tricky is sort of these three elements. That first, the getting used to the general idea of how to play it. But then even if you're doing that correctly, you then have to find the center of the string, right? So if I'm here or here, nothing much is happening, right? So you can be doing everything correct and still not get a good harmonic. And then the third aspect is trying to make sure the timing is absolutely correct in terms of this part of the hand coming away last. So if you start to play and you move away with this first and then play the thumb, you're just going to get a normal sound. You have to wait and let this come away last, but that runs the risk that you get kind of a thunky dead sounding harmonic if you don't move away with the right timing. So these three factors, the basic technique, then the placement being on the center, exact center of the string, and then the timing of how everything moves away. So if it's useful to you, again, I kind of like the simile of, say, diving off of a diving board, that the last thing that leaves are the feet. So in this case, the last thing that leaves is this base of the thumb leaving the string. It's what we're pushing off of to play this beautiful harmonic. So again, check out some of my other videos as well, but I hope these different camera angles have been useful. And as I promised, one tip you might not be aware of with harmonics is it's really worthwhile being aware of, is the string an open string or not? And by open string, what I mean is, are the discs or levers engaged? Because that's going to change where the center of the string is. So on the pedal harp, there's three options. It could be an open string, a flat. So that will be the highest, the center of the string will be at the highest point. If I move this down to natural, I have to move down the string just a tiny bit because the string has changed. Now the center of the string is a tiny bit lower. And if I go to sharp, I have to get even lower. So here I am for the sharp. If I stay there, I'm way too low for the flat. The flat is way up here. Of course, with the smaller strings, that will change. The amount you have to change becomes smaller, relatively. With these longer strings, that effect will be the most extreme. But being aware, is it on the pedal harp flat, highest, natural, a little bit lower, sharp, a little bit lower. And on the lever harp, are the levers up or down? If the levers are down, that's the highest point, sort of the open string equivalent. And if the levers are up, then you have to be a little bit lower. It's a little bit trickier on the lever harp in the sense that on here, we know flat is high, middle, natural is middle, sharp is the lowest. On a lever harp tuned to E flat, some of the naturals, for example, will be open strings, so a little bit higher, and some of the naturals will be with the lever up, so a little bit lower. So just remembering, is the lever up or down? And that can make a big difference in terms of consistency and getting a really beautiful harmonic each time. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you soon for another episode of Harp Tuesday. Cheers.